Moments with God, a time of reflection for every day.
January 15th. A new covenant, Jeremiah 31-33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Two sons left home in search of a more prosperous future. Upon their departure, the father gave them both a written paper containing moral rules on how they should behave in society and what was right to do and what was not. The sons left, and on the way they read the paper. One of them quickly reviewed it and thought that in every circumstance that would arise, they would use the paper to make decisions. On the other hand, the other decided to memorize them so that those rules would always be present in his heart and determine his actions. Then they arrived at a business fair where everything was sold. There were slaves, women, narcotics, food, silk, pack animals, etc. The first wanted to buy slaves and women to be able to trade. But when he took out the paper, he realized that it was against the rules. So he thought that the rules were wrong and he could not prosper if he followed the instructions. So he decided to keep it as a relic and use it sometimes to silence the voice of his conscience. On the other hand, as soon as the other saw the business offer, he simply chose to buy grain and silk, to resell them in other markets. One of them carried the regulations on the paper, but the other carried it in his heart. The law of God is an expression of his very nature. It is the personification of the great principle of love and, consequently, the foundation of his government in heaven and on earth. If our heart is regenerated in the likeness of God, if divine love is implanted in the soul, will not the law of God manifest itself in life? When the principle of love is implanted in the heart, when man is renewed according to the image of him who created him, the promise of the new covenant is fulfilled in him. I will put my laws in their hearts, and also in their minds I will write them. It has always been God's purpose that his law should be engraved in the hearts of people. So when he gave his law on tables of stone to his people, he did not want these tables to be revered, but that his law be kept. But men were content to have the law written, and they were guided by it in external matters, but it was not in their hearts. They did not love it, and they did not form their character according to the law of God. It is easy, although uncomfortable, to keep the law externally. We take care to do one thing or another, to abstain from stealing, from killing, from adultery, from having no other gods, or to keep the Sabbath day. However, these are the externals. And the law of God is more than that. Its requirements do not have to be a demand, but it has to elevate our life to a godly holiness. And for this, it must be in the heart. The law of God will constitute the crux of the great struggle that originates the conflict between Christ and his angels, on the one hand, and Satan and his on the other, and it will be a decisive struggle for the whole world. It has never lost its value. The new covenant does not mean annulling the law of God, but giving it the importance it deserves. It is not that the law was for ancient times, but with the New Testament everything has changed. That it is in the heart does not mean that it was annulled, but that its principles are loved and respected. No longer in a superficial and external way, but from within our life that transcends everything we are and do. Its principles show our salvation. The new covenant is having achieved the salvation of God, and with his love and power, his commandments direct all our life. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this audio. We invite you to share with your contacts and visit the website BibleWell.com.